Hello, 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 hello. Hi, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Miss Fierce here from the Fierce Trade House, and I am quite happy to be back. It's been a minute. I think it's been exactly a month since I did a recording, a weekly analysis. It's just been a really interesting couple of weeks, a lot of things happening on my end, and it's just been quite a challenge balancing everything, doing my analysis and whatnot. Yeah, but today I decided, I wanted to look at the charts this week. I wanted to just share my outlook, what I've been up to majorly at the end of the day. Obviously, you guys know I'm a funded trader with my Forex funds. I got funded, I think, 2 months ago. Was it 3 months ago? And it's been a really interesting ride. There was a point there that I almost violated my account, but thankfully I didn't. And then I went back to the drawing board and I was like, okay, I need to approach this trading from a different perspective because of the rules and whatnot. Yeah, so I then decided I was only going to, I was trading I was trading basically when I started, I was trading GU, gold, um, and the indices, right? But then I then decided to, and then I was very focused on NAS, NAS 100. But then after like a couple of weeks, I then narrowed down to US 30 for specific reasons. Yeah, so now I solely trade US 30 on the funded account, and even on my smaller accounts, I just trade US 30 or NAS, depending on the account size. So really my analysis, you guys have noticed, I love NAS. I like to look at other currencies, but I love indices rather. I do look at other assets, but I really just prefer looking at the indices because that's what I trade mostly. But there are a couple of things I've been doing in the background just to see how to add value to the community. And hopefully towards the end of the year, I'll be able to maybe share more. But for now, let's get on with it. Yes, so if this is your first time on my channel, as always, thank you for tuning in. Feel free to like, subscribe, share. And if you're an avid follower, I know I've been quiet, forgive me. But yes, I will try my level best to be a bit more consistent once again and continue to add value in this space, right? So US 30, that's what we're looking at. So let me tell you what I've been, US 30 has really been interesting. We can see, usually why we're on the 15-minute right now is because usually I set up some of my entries on the 15-minute and I refine them on the 5-minute. But I think maybe let me start by looking at this from let's say a monthly perspective, because I haven't really looked at the higher time frame perspective in a while. What I know is US 30 has finally, or is almost getting to the monthly level here of this is 27,762. Really hoping that we kind of push to this zone. I think once we get to this 27,000, that was 20,000. Okay, that's exactly 27,840. So once we get around here to this level, I think we'll be looking at potential, continuation of the indices. Basically US 30 in this sense, in this particular sense. But we have been in this really bearish, with a few months in between. This is let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the last 10 months, I think we've had like 3 up months and 1, complicated month in between here. You can see this indecision candle on the monthly, but generally we've been quite bearish. So we kind of broke out of structure here on the November 2020, and for the last 2 years, US 30 and the indices have been on a bullish drive. But then late last year, December, you can see we then began the retracement or the pullback down. Now we've just taken out February 2021 low, which is something which is pretty significant. I'm anticipating that we may try to pull back up, but then I'm still targeting, like I said, this level of 27,840 on the long term, right? Now that's on the monthly. So on the weekly though, we're not too far from target. We did leave, there's a kind of like a liquidity void here. There's a gap, clear gap we can see here from November 2020. Yeah. So I see we, really rallied lower, took out the low of June 2022 and Jan 2021. So took out significant level of structure here. So this pullback was actually anticipated because we took out liquidity. We took out several equal lows here. And so I'm just going to assume that that's the reason why now we kind of pulled back to these levels. And I'm still anticipating that we are going to continue on a bearish trend. So remember, my target is still the monthly range of between 27,840, 27,830, within this range, right? And anywhere between there and 25K. No, is it 26,072? But there's room for, I'd like to see how, I mean, the week was closed bullish, but we had some very interesting price action with this weekly candle that you can only see way better on a lower time frame. Yeah. So on the daily, this is how it's looking. We pushed up, we left out liquidity below here. When there's potential to try and continue further up, possibly. So two things could happen here. We could, because this is clearly a retracement, we are still, we formed a lower high. I feel like in the short term, there's room to pull back up to 30K, let's say 38.55, and then still continue down to the target, like I mentioned, on the monthly time frame. So that's a possibility, just looking at this area of interest, right? Because I'm looking at this range from 3rd of October, where we formed the low of 28,607. And then we pushed and formed the high of 30,475. So this is basically the range, the trading range. And based on this range, we've stuck in this range for a couple, the whole, since the month began. Yeah, we formed this, so we didn't even take out this low. So we just took out liquidity in here, pushed back up, retraced, and I feel like there's room for us to continue, at least near term, to push up, and then maybe take care of this imbalance up here in the levels of 31K, 31,314. Now, what I think though is there's still room to push lower before that happens. So I'm actually anticipating that the market will open lower, and you can see this. So if I look at let's say I go on the 1 hour. So what we see is, we've been in this range, right? On a shorter term. Yeah. We formed some reaccumulation kind of sideways range here. There was this high here, low, swing high, swing low. We took out this low of Sunday on Thursday, and then we really rallied back. So this was actually, for me, a liquidity grab happening, right? Because we literally took out all this liquidity lying below here, and then we pushed up, and I feel like this is a retracement before we continue up. So on a shorter time frame, I'm bullish. I'm expecting price to continue to push higher, but I feel like the market should open lower. As you can see, these are the levels that I placed here. We rallied. This was on Friday. We actually broke down. You can see this is the 1 hour. we pulled back up, and then I feel like we're going to continue to drop even lower, right? So the levels I'm targeting on the drop is 29,293 and maybe 29,136. So if I look at the 15 minutes, that's still my bias, and we can see the price action here. So I'm really looking at least near term 29,293, which is about let's say about 375 points away, all the way to maybe 29,136 to about 536 points thereabouts, 29,125 level. So that's really the range I'm working with. Yeah, I'm really still bearish on US 30 before we see a continuation of price higher up, and just especially just because of this impulse move down that took out liquidity, and then broke down below this order block here, retested, and I think we're just going to continue down. So that's my take on US 30, and I think NAS generally looks similar, right? I think so. So that's that, right? Okay. So yeah, so NAS, we see NAS kind of, already is making headway towards this order block here. So, so I'm just thinking we're gonna come pull down as well, possibly, consolidate a bit before we push out. But really, structurally, I am looking at this and thinking that let me look at the break of structure here. There's actually room to keep dropping all the way down here. Yeah, but at least on a near-term target, 10,640 is a near-term target. And maybe lower, take care of this series of orders. But then there's a reactionary level here that I think we are going to react off of this zone and then continue to push higher, because I mean the structure here is very bullish. We took out liquidity here. We were actually ranging. The plan was, in my mind, to continue pushing higher to these levels, but then we then took out liquidity aggressively. I'm sure, I can't remember what news happened here, and then now we rebalance that, continue the rebalancing, and I think now we could be ready to now scale greater heights. So that's NAS. Yeah, so let me look at gold and GU and then wrap up, right? So gold is let me see the higher time frame. Let me see the higher time frame. Gold has also been bearish, okay, for a couple of months. It's just been dropping. We took out liquidity around the level of 1666, and we attempted to try and pull back, but then the structure has been very bearish. I am, however, because of just where we are right now, I am, however, thinking that, okay, fine, we may continue to drop all the way to 1587 level. I mean, that's a long term level. Okay, very interesting level of structure there. So that would be 1587, yeah, 1589.49. That's a possibility on the monthly. And then possibly now we see that correction or reversal, right? Weekly time frame. So we're not too far off. We are seated in a serious order block zone. Yeah, structure is interestingly bearish. So I'll want to see how the market opens, but I won't be surprised. I mean, there's really bearish structure. It looks like it's very bearish. So possibly we are targeting, let me see how far we are at from that zone. We are about 621 pips. Okay, that's quite something. Let me look at the daily. Look at how it's looking at a shorter time frame. Yeah, so I'm still thinking, okay, we are sitting in an interesting level. We could react off of this level and push up. So for me, I think with gold, really, I'm bearish, but I really want to wait and see how the market opens. Okay, so I'm leaving it open just because of where we are at in the market, right about now. I feel like we did get into this imbalance. We tapped into it. I still feel we're looking bearish, so I'm gonna see. We might consolidate and then but really bearish. I'm bearish on gold. Let me end it. Let me just say that I'm bearish on gold. So let's see. So I'm looking at GBP USD as a last look. I mean, pair, this is what I want to look at last. So because again, guys, I've not looked at them at this pairs in a long time. I just want to see what's happening on the highest time frames or the higher time frames. This is where we're at. We just took out liquidity. We've been bearish. I mean, clearly this is really a reflection of what's happening around the world. Like the markets have just been melting. There's been a lot of volatility. We are in a global recession, so it's pretty much causing a lot of mayhem, a lot of things happening globally, in different economies. I mean, you guys know what's been happening. So yeah, with GU posting bearish structure, but I feel like we may start seeing price just because of this really major rejection here on the monthly. We may see prices beginning to post higher. We closed bullish last week on Friday, as you can see. I'm actually thinking, it would be nice if we started seeing price pushing higher. I mean, this for me is just okay. I think we are beginning to possibly look bullish. So we pull, yeah. So I'm waiting to see what happens around this level of 1.10550. Yeah, we may pull lower to that zone, maybe take out liquidity, but I'm thinking we haven't yet taken out this swing high here. So if we do take out this 1.17316 level, then we will resume into bullish structure, but we are still in this bearish zone. Okay, so we took out liquidity. We could be reaccumulating. So I'm just like, I mean, we have this would be my trading range that I would really be looking at. Okay. Then maybe midterm, this would be a midterm level, maybe, that I'll be looking at on the near term between, this is 1.09243. So this is where we are at. We've just taken out, when I look at the 1 hour, we just took out swing highs, we took out internal structure, we then pulled back, but we've been really posting bullish structure. So this is kind of like a correction, a retracement. I don't know how much further this would go. I'm 50-50, okay, because we are kind of, let's see, we're kind of smack in the middle of a range. So this could go either way. Okay, we took out this significant swing high here, took out structure. So I would anticipate a correction higher. But because we are really posting bearish structure, there's potential for us to dip into this imbalance below here before we see the continuation. So for GU, this for me would be a 50-50. You know, I feel like we could drop lower, maybe get into the 1.10795 before we see price continuing to post higher prices. But long term, I would anticipate us targeting the 1.14940 level. Okay. But we may open a bit bearish before that continuation happens. So long term, I think the markets are, you know, they've really struggled to push back higher. But I think there might be some, you know, reprieve, and you may see prices beginning to push higher, right? But structure is still pretty bearish. Yeah. So guys, I hope this has been of help. And once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for just, you know, just following. If you have any comments, feel free to put them in the comment section, and I'll respond. If you have any questions, please ask. Yeah, and yeah, I just want to wish you all a fantastic trading week ahead. And yeah, let's go make that money. Thank you guys, and see you soon. Bye bye.